Hi everyone, welcome to Her STEM Stories episode number 45. This is your host Prasha, and today we're celebrating International Women's Day 2019. This is a very important day for women around the world. It was started almost a century ago in 1911. And according to their website, they're very clear that this day is not about country, group, or organization, and it belongs to all groups collectively everywhere. And it also is the day where we can truly make a positive difference for women. So, what exactly is International Women's Day? International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day marks a call of action to accelerate gender parity. No one government, NGO, charity, corporation, academic institution, women's network, or media hub is solely responsible for International Women's Day. Many organizations declare an annual International Women's Day theme that support their specific agenda or cause, and some of these are adopted more widely with relevance than others. IWD is a collective day of global celebration and call for gender parity. International Women's Day is all about unity, celebration, reflection, advocacy, and action, whatever that looks like globally at a local level. But one thing is for sure, IWD has been occurring for well over a century and continues to grow from strength to strength. I am reading this from internationalwomensday.com/about page because I wanted to be very clear about what this day is all about, and they have used such great verbiage. And what I want to do special this International Women's Day is that commit to my promise of being more inclusive and being more intersectional in all that I do. So as we progress through 2019, you will see more intersectional content. You'll see more and more women from different countries and different, socioeconomic backgrounds and different races and different religions, so that we can learn more about how we can support women in all forms of life, and no matter if they recognize with a different sexual orientation, or if they have any kind of disability, it doesn't matter. All women need a platform, and Her STEM Story and STEM Advocacy Institute, we're all committed to providing that for women in STEM around the world. So super excited for this day, and super excited to be celebrating it with you and none other than Teresa Ambrosio, who is our special guest today. So keep listening to get inspired.
Welcome to Her STEM Story, a podcast about real women with extraordinary science, technology, engineering, and mathematics stories. In this show, we'll talk to some absolutely inspiring women and highlight some women-led organizations in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We'll learn more about their work, their struggles, and how they think we can close the gender gap in STEM professions. Keep listening to get inspired.
Trauma in your childhood and adolescence can leave you scarred. The after effects can stay with you for a long time. Our guest today, Teresa Ambrosio, has worked her way through some mental struggles to achieving an international scholarship in the UK. She also has an impressive social media following with 5,000 followers on Instagram. Her SciComm efforts are phenomenal. Let's talk to Teresa and learn more about her amazing STEM story. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in the show with you today.
Thank you. This is so great. I absolutely love your story and love your Instagram account.
Thank you very much.
It's an amazing community for sure. So before we jump into the whole world of SciComm and Instagram and use of social media, I really want to know a little bit more about your PhD. So you are pursuing PhD in sustainable chemistry. So tell us a little bit about that.
So my PhD is kind of a new program that has been going on in the UK for a while, and it's not a traditional PhD program. It's called Center for Doctoral Training. Mm-hmm. So basically what the industries understood is that, PhD students have all the skills to do science, mm-hmm. but they lack all the soft skills like, be good at communicating or communicate your work to different audience, like business people, or to the general public, or investors, conflict management, all these soft skills that then they have to acquire. So industries have to pay further trainings after you get your PhD. So my PhD is, we do the science, but also at the same time we get all these trainings about, the soft skills that will make a PhD program complete in terms of, employability and, applying for new jobs.
Definitely, I think that's a huge gap in a lot of academic programs, not just PhD. I think they don't do a good job in bachelor's and masters, especially in scientific fields. And I guess it's one of those vicious cycles, right? Like people didn't do it in the past, so they don't do it now, and then it just keeps snowballing like that. So you are in Nottingham University, is that correct?
Yeah, this is at the University of Nottingham, and they have different programs. Mine is in sustainable chemistry. They also have in bioscience or in engineering. So they have different programs for different disciplines. And there are also in other universities, such as in Bath or Bristol, they also have these centers. So with the PhD, so when I started, I didn't really start into the lab from the first day. The first semester was a master in sustainable chemistry, and we had to do a literature review. And then each of us, a cohort of 15 students, we made a research proposal. Like, when you go and you are an academic, you have to do your research proposal for money. So we did this kind of same things, but we were just, master students. So it wasn't the same, but it was a good training. And, you learn you have an insight of academia since the start, where you have to do, where you want to approach research, you survey the literature, and then you spot a gap, and how you go further. And it was good because, having a literature review, it means that you have the introduction of your thesis.
Yes, definitely. So you didn't grow up or anything in the UK. You moved from Italy. So you are an international student in the UK, and you won an international scholarship. So tell us a little bit about your journey from your hometown to Nottingham.
So this is really relates to my personal story. So basically, I grew up in a small village in southern Italy, and I lived there until I was 19, because basically in Italy the educational system is different. So we stay in high school until 19, and then we go from high school to university. So, and this process ends at when you are 19. So then I was like, feeling that this environment wasn't really mine, so I wanted to move from this small city. I went to Rome. I started university there. And my initial idea, since, when you are in such a small village, you don't really have an insight of the world. So the professions, are the doctor, the lawyer. So my first idea was to apply for medical school. But I didn't get there. Then I decided to do chemistry. And then it was really my thing. I was, I had this passion for chemistry when I was in secondary school, in high school. And then after the first year, I completed all my modules. I was one of the best in the class. So I said, this is my passion, and there is no need to, move to medical school. I want to stay here. So this is, and then, I was always one of the good kids in the class, and I was always, on top of all the modules, courseworks, and everything. And then my idea was to do a PhD from the start, but during my last year, I had a big argument with my sister, which, and then this is when I decided, something had to change. And so I graduated, and then I took one gap year. And I went to Ireland to learn English, because my English wasn't really good back then. But I say, I really want to move from here. I want an experience abroad, which I never had. And then I learned English, and I was applying for jobs all around Europe. I had an interview with a lady in the Netherlands, and she told me, "Oh, no one, you too smart. No one will offer you a job. You have to apply for a PhD." And then I applied for PhD, and after a few weeks, University of Nottingham said, "We're pleased to give you the scholarship," and then I came to Nottingham.
Yeah, that's awesome. Isn't it a huge thing? Like, I think people don't realize, um, like, what all forces people to move abroad and how difficult it is to live without family and friends, and to make your own life. It's just very difficult.
It's a totally new experience. I just moved away from my family when I went to Rome, which was, already a big step. And, it was to get a bit more independent, but, you're still in the same country, the same language, same, when you move here, it was totally different. It was, and this was, I think, the drive to change and, it
Difficult.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, but tell us, is it very similar in Italy? Like, is there any gender specific issues, like saying, hey, women don't go to school as that often, or women are not allowed, or not allowed, but culturally less women leave the country? Is that an Italian thing, or is it different?
When I was back in Italy, I wasn't really close to this topic of gender gap
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But there is definitely, when I was at university, we were mainly girls in my undergrad and master, and I think girls were also the best. Best. I think there is much of a disparity in education. I think more it's Italy is one of these Latin countries, so there is more the culture of in the in the real world
Mm-hmm.
is more of this masculinity, the man as a macho,
Yes.
woman,
Stay at home. Yeah.
yeah, there is more now. I think things are changing slowly because social media. We have a window to the world. But when I graduated, I think it was 2010 and no 2012. But, there were Facebook was there, but not Twitter,
No.
Instagram. So now we have a different perspective, but still, this idea of the man as a macho or women at the back, I think it was still there.
Yeah, same here. I didn't realize the problems of the gender gap and stuff like that till I started doing her STEM story last year. And before that, I had no idea that this was a problem. But yes, in India too, I mean, a lot of women are I shouldn't say forced, but yes, their families kind of force them to get married. There's not a lot of independence. I still have friends and family who say, hey, we can't come to America alone. Like, our parents won't let us go. These are 30-year-old women. They're saying our parents won't let us go, and it's like, what does that even mean? Like, but and I've only been away 6 years, but it's such a huge difference between cultures and opportunity, and just like the whole gender stereotype is a little different. It is subtle in America. I'm not saying that it's not there. It's just not in your face all the time, like it's in India, where people they're not afraid of saying it. Here people are more diplomatic when it comes to sexism.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed is that not in academia, but also in in real life, not real life. I don't know how to say everyday life. Women here in the UK, even same age of my mother, so 50, 55 years
Yeah.
old. They dress up, they go to the pub, they stay, they do the girls' night.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I was shocked because I did never see my mother doing such a thing.
Yeah.
So this is, I think I've seen this kind of, disparity, but in everyday life, not at the start, not really in academia. So
Yeah, same thing here. Like, with the things people do here, like work out, like 60-year-old women working out. I'm like, what the heck? My mom would not even, like, if she has to walk more than 2 miles, she'll be like, oh, I'm too tired, everything hurts. That's just, they like to stay home. but that's an interesting take. I think when we are immigrants in another country, it just opens us to a lot of more difficulties and challenges. But it also teaches us a lot of life skills, which non-immigrants, kind of don't have, like adaptability and stuff like that. So that's definitely great. And now tell us, I know you've had your own fair share of struggles with mental health, and you're a big promoter of self-care on Instagram and very open about your own journey. So tell us a little bit about that period, and a little bit about your struggle of how you overcame it.
I don't know how to approach this, but basically the major event in my life that I think now, after a long time, I realized triggered the depression was that I was bullied in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was not much, people don't really talk about these things, no one is really keen to address the problems. If you are in this situation, you are on your own. Mm-hmm. So it's, you feel this shame to talk to friends, to express your feeling, or to your family, mm-hmm. Because they think, everything is normal. They do this, and then you have to accept. So I was, I didn't know what to do, and I just, kind of not accepted. I say, this is the way it is. I don't know if I made mistakes or whatever I did for these guys to, have me as a target, but it's what they say is not what I am, and this, I think, it drove my depression, but at the same time, it gave me strength to be good at school, and said, if at least I can prove that I'm good at this, whatever they say, it's what they say, it's their opinion, I don't care. Mm-hmm. So and this is when I got I think it was the first period when my depression started. Mm-hmm. And then throughout, since I was 15 to now, there were events in my life, mm-hmm. That with people or with my family that made me go back to that state of having confidence in yourself, or have a poor self-esteem, or mm-hmm. Think that the world is against you, and all these feelings, and if you don't I've been reading a lot about these things now, and basically, if you don't find the solution at the start, it gets harder and harder. Yep. And when you have depression once, it's hard. The chance that you get depression in the future is higher, and it's harder to recover. This is basically how it started, and it was always, a struggle to do things. It was a struggle, but at the same time, I didn't want to give up, or, say that I was a failure, or all these things. And I put all my effort in school. This is why, now I'm here.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a great story.
I wish it was a bit easier, but at the end,
it's a lot of work. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the case with depression too. I have had two episodes of depression, and really terrible ones, including a lot of self-harm, and just not liking myself and stuff like that. But it still goes to teach you that if you can overcome it, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So but it's a journey that everyone has to take, their own journey. It won't be the same. How I don't know if they say it in Italy, but in India, if you go on a pilgrimage, right, like to a temple or whatever, you have to climb a mountain and blah blah, and it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to climb, but they say everyone experiences it differently. So it's the same route, but you're all going to feel it differently. So I think that's very similar to, you're not going to get to the top of the mountain without having your fair share of struggles. And people can tell you, do this, do that. But, in the end, it's your journey that matters. Now, academia has another bad reputation of mental health.
I didn't know this
Susanna's fault. Blame it on Susanna. But I know academia can be, the jokes apart. Sorry, Susanna, that was just a joke. But I know academia can be, lonely, and it can be very, a publish or perish kind of mindset. Can also wear you down. Do you feel like, have you ever experienced anything like that in your PhD, or it has kind of been opposite in your case, that it kind of helped you get out of your struggles?
I didn't have this experience with results. If you don't have results, you're not good enough. Because I've been since the start of my PhD, I didn't have a really positive environment around me. So, and I don't know, I had this wide decision to start my blog, and to reach out on social media. So I was reading about this, and the fact that people experience anxiety, and one of the reasons is this, and then the fact that you don't produce results doesn't mean that you're not a good scientist.
Yeah.
I think for me it was mostly what really made me hate academia at some point. It was more of the mentality and the people there, little compassion and understanding, and it was. It wasn't the best, I went there, being friendly, and I didn't find a positive environment at the start, and I think this is what I don't know
Yeah,
how to
yeah, no,
say.
definitely. No, that's definitely a thing because again, it comes back to the soft skills part, right? If people are not good at soft skills and they're not human enough, then
Yeah.
you lose touch with reality and they're less social. And again, same thing, it becomes more lonely. And if you're a person like me, which I think you are, which is more like, outgoing and friendly and, extrovert, it can be really lonely because I used to work in a lab and I thought I was going to die because nobody would talk. They just sat in their cubicles. They just did their thing. They came and left. No hi, no bye, nothing. And
Yeah.
even if you bought like donuts or cakes or anything, they would just eat it and sit on their desk again. And it was just really weird. Like I didn't want to do PhD after that. I said I'm just done with my master's and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's still a good experience to do a PhD, because you learn a lot about science, about yourself, about what you want to do, and it's an experience to, improve yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never worked outside academia, so I don't know if in a company
Yeah.
have the same,
Yeah.
opportunity to grow. Academia is stimulating, you challenge and whatever, and I think this is good. And if it wasn't for some of these mentalities that I think they've been, this is a very old-fashioned. If it wasn't for this, I think it would be a very positive experience for
Yeah, and
everyone.
I think you yourself, Susanna, a lot of you guys are leading academia to that new era where it is more positive, it's more open, it's more yes, you can be a scientist, but you can be so much more. So, but I think you guys are opening those doors, and that kind of leads us into your whole Instagram journey. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started, and then where is that initiative going in 2019? I'm really excited to hear.
Well, basically, I've already mentioned why I started. It was because I
Yeah.
felt like this isolation. There was another girl in the University of Nottingham, Agatha, and she started blogging, and I said, oh, maybe I can do this too.
Yeah.
And I started, and then I found out this community, such as the Cheeky Scientist or
Hmm.
Jennifer Polk. And I say, but a PhD can be more. There is no space for everyone in academia. At some point you have to leave. So it's better, to kind of start looking around you and see what's
Yeah.
there.
Other options. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is why the way my page started, to kind of motivate people that you feel isolated, you feel that there is no there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but
Yeah.
actually, if you keep your mind open, there are lots of opportunity, and this is the science, the training is good, and the research is nice, but if you don't make it,
Hmm.
it's okay. There are loads of opportunity, and understand your value as a person, as a
Hmm.
PhD. You want to learn more, do it, and
Yeah.
don't
Keep going. Yeah.
keep
Definitely.
going. Even this is reconnect with the stuff that are different in Italy and UK. In UK, there is no stigma around mental health about this, and it's okay, to go to the to have been on medication, to go to the therapist, and people were talking about, to me about their struggle, and I said, why they do this, and this is kind of was an encouragement for me to
Keep
talk
doing.
about
Yeah.
this, and say, I had experience of this in academia in my life, and
Hmm.
we'll see. I start talking about this, and the response was massive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I was, I don't know, maybe one of the first that
People.
started talking about this on social media or on Instagram. It's like there are like other people, but not in this kind of niche. It was in the outcome was immense, and I think there is so much need to talk about this stuff, self care, and all this stuff we hear that people they talk to me and they say, oh, you have the time to go to the gym. how do
Yeah.
you do this? And
Yeah.
I know how I want to do this.
Yes, it's definitely something that energizes you. It, fills you up with energy. Next morning you can be better at school, at work, and everything that you do. I feel the same, and it's just been tremendous. I think what the other big thing is to mention here is that we talk about so much about the negatives of social media, and we we both experience the power of positive social media. And some of the stuff is just so tremendous, just like mental health that you guys are doing, self-care, pill shaming. That was fantastic when I saw people sharing all the pills that they have to take to function. And it was incredible that we're opening that space to so much goodness, that people can come together and help each other out. I mean, I posted something about being sad, and so many people messaged me that, hey, I hope you feel better. And it's just nice. It's the connection that we're all looking for. And I think it's similar to how we've portrayed women, right? That the women have to be a certain way, but no, you can't generalize. There's so many different kinds of people and women and nationalities and jobs, and there's so many different kinds of scientists. And same thing goes for social media. There is a good side and a bad side, and everything in between. So I think we have the responsibilities, and as being the pioneers in social media, the generation who's pioneering social media, we need to make this more become mainstream, make this more so acceptable.
Yeah.
And people should see social media in a different light than just a lot of fakeness.
Or showing off and all these things. People will do, because if you are top model, this is your job.
Yeah.
But you what I always say, you have to, what you see on social media, the picture is the top of the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
You don't know if people do this for a living, if they hire professional pictures, which editing program they have. We don't know these things. What we see is just what they want us to see. So don't look behind the picture, and don't compare yourself to anyone.
Yeah, I think a good thing that you just said was a few minutes ago was just looking and kind of finding your values. I think it's very important. Once you find those, you will find the content that aligns with it. And if you don't find it, you will make content that aligns with your values. And that's the only way we can change the world. And the world is actually social media right now. So if we can change social media, then we can definitely create that ripple effect and create more of these lasting compressions.
This is what you mentioned as well when you did the kind of the job interview. When you want a job, and we had a training at the university, and they say the same things. Understand what you want.
Yeah.
Look for the company. There is, not 100%, but somehow
close to
in line. Yeah, in line with what's your vision, and this is the best.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Even in life, right? I mean, I think, but the problem is, Teresa, that people just don't stop and think. They just keep going, right? I mean, growing up, you would agree, in Italy and India is very similar. You just have the next step and the next step and the next step, and it never stops. It's like, can I just sit down and do nothing? No. Keep doing something. You should go to school, do this, do this, do this. They just don't stop to process it. And I think in first world countries like UK and America, people have time. You have time to sit and think. Like in India, you just don't have that time. You just have either people flooding your house, like your neighbors, your friends. It's just everyone's always visiting. You just don't get any personal space, so you just don't get time to actually think what you're thinking. It's too hard. Like when I first came to America, the hardest thing was to stay alone, because in India you don't stay alone. At least in India, you're always around people, like always. And it's just so hard. If you say, I need 1 hour to myself, they think you're mad, you're upset. They'll just be like, oh, what can I do? How can I fix it? And it's like, people go to India to find themselves. I always tell people I found myself in America. Because I don't know, there's no peace.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. In Italy, it's the same. If you say, oh, I don't want to go out today. Oh, you see,
Why not?
what's wrong with? So yeah, and here, now I found the time, as you say, to stop and
assess. Yeah. Understand what you want. Yeah, who you are. I think these are all great things to do. Whether you're a woman or a man, I don't care. You should find that time, because that, we have so much mental health issues in the world, especially in America. You see these people, shooting people, and, it's really bad. And I think, opening this space up is tremendous in solving the problem. Just tell us, I know we've covered most of the things that we want to talk about. I just want to know your favorite book.
One of my favorite books I read when I was 16 and I was in Italy, and I was trying to look for the title.
You couldn't find it?
So I'll tell you one of the book I read this year, one of the 30th book I read this year. And I think the one that, I don't know, changed a bit of the way I think is this one I'm reading now. It's about the mindful way through depression. And I think this has been changing really the way I see things, and you and your body experience the world. And I think it's something I wish I found before. It's really helping.
Yes, that's awesome. I think mindfulness is the only way, in my opinion, that's the only way. It has helped me through my father's death. It has helped me through getting over, all the things that were holding me back. But mindfulness is phenomenal, and I can't wait to read that book this year. It sounds like a great book. So
it's really nice, and lots of exercise, practical exercise that you can do every day. Even when you don't think, when you walk or when you do stuff in the house, be in the moment. And,
yes. I think that's the secret to happiness in life. I think that's the only way to find happiness, in little things and just being present, and enjoying. It's too short. We shouldn't get so worried about everything else like we do. Take it to heart, like, oh, he talked to me like this, she talked to me like this, and then you realize you're just a little entity on a big giant Earth that's going through this solar system at this speed, and you're like, okay, I don't matter. It doesn't matter. Get over it. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much, Teresa, for all the wonderful things you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. You do the same.
Thank you. I like to hear my praise, so thank you very much. But I appreciate you taking the time, and of course, we will be following each other all over social media, and we will share all the links in the episode notes, so you guys can go follow Teresa on Instagram. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Okay, thank you to you.
And that was Teresa with her incredible STEM story. Please use the links in the episode notes to follow Teresa and her amazing work. Also use the links in the episode notes to follow International Women's Day and all the great work that they're doing to close the gender gap in the world. And if you like our show, please consider making a small donation to our donation page, which is listed in the episode notes as well. Small donation, as small as $1, can help us grow the show and make this even better. So thank you so much for listening. See you. Bye.